biding your time, biding your time. Just stay close to her tires will go off. Stay close for a while. Just stay in these mirrors. Don't be impatient.
A perfect weekend for racing at historic Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course finds 4 drivers qualifying below the TransAm track record. We talked with one of them, Amy Ruman. It's the home track for the Kent, Ohio favorite daughter. Jan Halen makes his TransAm debut. The former open-wheel ace brings a new car to the Mid-Ohio fight. We talked with Jan and take a look at the new car, a Dodge Challenger. And the TransAm series was on fire at Mid-Ohio. Hello everyone and welcome back to GoTransAm on MavTV. I am Alfredo Nin. As you all seen, this has been a great start of the season so far. In the first 2 rounds, we have 2 new winners in the TransAm class. That is Doug Peterson and Simon Gregg. And 2 different winners in TransAm 2. That is Pete Halsmer and Bob Stretch. This weekend we are at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for the 3rd round of the championship. This is another great track that has been part of the TransAm history since the beginning, and it looks like this is going to be another race that new history can be made. Here we have new drivers to the series, new teams, new cars, and a new class like Global GT. Now I hope you're all ready to enjoy another special show of GoTransAm from MavTV. 2011 TA2 category champion Bob Stretch won the TA2 pole this weekend. He takes us on a trip around the track with iRacing.
Okay, so wide open on the throttle past start finish, and right up here in turn 1, it's a little bit difficult. The car tends to push a little bit in this area. Back wide open on the throttle, you got to let it track all the way out to the curbing here to get the best run you can down this long straightaway. This straightaway is pretty important. A lot of guys brake a little early here, but you got to brake a little bit late, turn in, and it's a little bit downhill, a little bit on camber. There's some good pavement. The car hooks up here, wide open, all the way down this. Of course, this is the longest straightaway on the course, so it's critical to get a really good run off that last corner. Right down here into the brake zone, it's downhill, so the car tends to get a little bit unstuck. Turn in right here. You don't want to trail brake too far in here because you got to get back on the throttle to make this a little short shoot. Up over the crest of the hill, you kind of squeeze it on the best you can here. Same thing right down through here, a little bit of just squeezing the throttle on, and then right here you got to be wide open again. Cut it off here, aim the car the best you can so you're not crossed up coming over this hill. And then this one's important too. You got to get the car lined up as best you can. The car gets light coming over the hill. Wide open through here. It's a little bit tricky here too. The car tends to push coming into here, but got to turn it in and wide open to make this a little short shoot again. And right down in here, down into second, down into first, turn the car in, and right about there, wide open again so you can get a good run down that front straightaway to get the best lap you can.
We didn't have to go too far for drama this weekend. Tom Sheehan was second in TA2 qualifying, but he was first when it came to burning cars. He'll describe the issues a bit later. This segment is brought to you by GoRacingTV.com. For racers, by racers.
Welcome to another episode of Racing No Filter. Joining me in sunny California, Bill Wood, and down in sunny Florida, Peter Keene.
We're going to take a look at some of the products HPD has created for the 2012 Honda Civic, and specifically we're going to show you how to install an adjustable sway bar.
Until then, folks out there, you take care.
In 45 years of TransAm racing, only one woman has won a race. That's Amy Ruman from Kent, Ohio. Ruman is third in points after a third at Line Rock. She enters the 3rd round of the championship working hard developing a new Corvette for TransAm.
We're progressing nicely. We were coming off a good last weekend. We had a win, and then we fell out of the second race with some contact with some lapped cars. But, you know, we're really working on setups, and so we're really trying to find the balance that's good for us. And, you know, with the other car, I had so many years in that car. We had setups for every track. So this car is a little different. We're trying out different springs, different bars, all kinds of different stuff. we're progressing and getting faster and faster. And this is our home track, so we have a lot of experience here. I know the track, I know the intricacies of it. So we're excited for this hometown race, and the McNichols Company has a good branch here in Cleveland, so we're excited to be here. We have a lot of fans rooting for us. This track is very, it's a driver-oriented track, so it's more difficult. We change, you got to change the gearbox, of course, and different turns and things like that. But we're just making changes constantly, so we can find out what this car is going to do and when. So we're using every session to just try something different. Even if something felt really good for me in the session before, we're still going to make a change. And we could say, oh, that's not the way to go. We want to go back to this, and we like that.
The competition in the Trans Am class is very tight. It's very interesting. We have 2 different winners in the first 2 races. Maybe here in Mid-Ohio, at Mid-Ohio, you can be the 3rd different driver.
We're going for it for sure. I really would love to win at this track. I would really love to win in my hometown crowd. And, we're just going to go all out. We're going to do the best we can. And, the race is a race. You got to be there 100 miles. And at the end, you've got to take that checkered flag. And anything can happen at the end, at the beginning, whatever. So we're going to be there. We're going to be pushing hard, and we're going to try to get us another win.
Here with Jim Terhak to talk about our tech talk. Jim, part of your business is composites. Talk to us a little bit about this Trans Am Bodyworks.
Well, Alfredo, we've been in the composite business for a long time, and we build several of the bodies, like this Corvette that Simon won Lime Rock with last week. And we build the bodies. We spend a lot of time in the wind tunnel working on the aero. They're built out of different materials, either carbon fiber or fiberglass. And the aerodynamics is an important part of the Trans Am car.
How about the difference between materials? You talked about carbon fiber and also fiberglass. Can you get the same body out of both materials?
The body's the same either way as far as the shape. The fiberglass is a lot less expensive and heavier than the carbon fiber. Most of the guys running Trans Am will run the carbon fiber. Some of the SCCA GT1 racers will buy the fiberglass body.
We've heard out of the camera that carbon fiber is difficult to get during these days. What's the reason because of that?
Well, a lot of it is that's what they're using in the windmills, so to generate electricity, and that burns up a lot of carbon. Those are really big blades.
You also mentioned that this 2010 body is a lot better aerodynamically than the newer Corvette body. Can we talk about why is it?
Well, again, we spent 4 days in the wind tunnel with this body, where the other manufacturer didn't go to the wind tunnel at all, and you learn a lot in the wind tunnel.
Doug Peterson of Bonita Springs, Florida, leads the Trans Am points going into round 3 at Mid-Ohio. Let's take a look at Doug at the office.
Stretching TA2 champions. Bob Stretch is my dad. I am 8 years old and I race Rotax Micromax go-karts. I normally win, and that's what it's going to take me to get into TA.
This segment is brought to you by Speedcom Communications, racing radio systems and scanners. race this season is bringing out new cars, drivers, even new brands this weekend at Mid-Ohio. Making its 2012 Trans Am debut is a new Dodge Challenger in the Global GT category. It was a class run last year. Hopefully, there will be more joining the Challenger the rest of the season. Also in Global GT this weekend, a Panos GT. New in the TA2 category at Mid-Ohio, Greg Rogers, a winner in the TA2 class from last year. And another one of the stock cars, a Monte Carlo, appearing in the TA2 category driven by Joe Storm. But the new car receiving the most attention was the Dodge Challenger driven by Jan Halen. One of the owners in the program, points leader Doug Peterson. Halen is from Belgium. His resume includes competition in Champ Car and Grand Am. It's good to have you in Trans Am series for the Global GT class. It's going to be the first race of the Global GT class this weekend, and you're going to be driving the new Dodge Challenger. Talk a little bit about this car.
Yeah, first of all, I'm happy to be here in Mid-Ohio with Doug Peterson and 3 Dimensional in the Dodge Challenger. It's all new, you know. It's new for us. The car is still very new. We're in the early stages of the development. And so it is for the series. So, you know, just looking forward to getting out there, and we'll see how it goes.
What's going to be the schedule for the Dodge Challenger and the 3-dimensional DACOM team? Are you going to do Mid-Ohio and then other races? Can we see you in other races this year?
Well, this is it's very early stages for the car, and so it is for the series. So we're going to see how this weekend goes, and then we're going to go from there.
Can you talk a little bit about the different cars you've raced, and talk a little bit about this car?
Yeah, you know, I've done a little bit of everything in my career. Started in karting, just like most of the guys here, and then you know, the single seaters. That's really my background. Came here to do the you know, the IndyCar Champ Car series, which I very much enjoyed, and then. In the meantime, we've been doing some GT racing, 24-hour races, 24 hours of Daytona, 24 hours of Spa in Europe, some Porsches, Corvettes, you know, did a little bit of everything. Now here with Dodge, so yeah, I've done the whole range.
Before going to the race, let's take a look at the qualifiers. Two-time defending champion Tony Abe led the assault on the Trans Am record book. His 121.6 was his 3rd straight pole, but Abe has not been able to win from pole this season. Doug Peterson's 121.0 also topped the Mid-Ohio Trans Am record, as did Amy Ruman and Simon Gregg, winner of round 2 at Line Rock. There you see the rest of the Trans Am category drivers. In TA2, we had the largest field of the season, 11 cars, but 2, Pete Halsmer and Cameron Lawrence, didn't turn any laps in qualifying. On the TA2 pole, defending class champion Bob Stretch, followed by his teammate Tom Sheehan and Kurt Rorick, the engineer-turned-driver. Michael Wilson, who finished on the podium in each of the first 2 rounds, qualified 4th at Mid-Ohio. But it was Tom Sheehan who was the hot story after qualifying when his Camaro caught fire in the pits. Bill Wood talked with him.
Tom Sheehan, you qualified 2nd, and then this happened. Where'd the fire come from?
Yeah, pretty good run out there today. Our lap held up for 2nd. We're real happy with that. Going to start from, you know, right next to Bob tomorrow. He's on pole, which is great for our team. The fire happened after qualifying. We were in pit lane, just hanging out, getting ready to go up to impound, and refired the car and got about 30 feet down. Noticed a small fire in the hood. It's probably a fuel deal, and just drove it up to some guys with some fire bottles and got a little help there, and they put us out. I don't think we have a lot of heavy damage. I think we'll be okay. Clean up the car a little bit, be ready to race tomorrow.
Sounds pretty cool. You told me before that you were a D3 athlete, won some national championships at Allegheny. Is that, you were a wide receiver? You look like a wide receiver.
Yeah, I played a little football in college. Was a little better at catching the football than I was at the college part, and ended up, they let me go a little early. And but yeah, we were fortunate enough to the team I played with. We won some championships. It was a lot of fun.
So Tom Sheehan, you know how to win championships. You're going to convert T2 championship this year?
Yeah, we're looking to, you know, I want to get more comfortable in these cars. Drove a lot of rear engine cars, and this is really my first, you know, going into cars with the engines in the front. and they're a little different to drive, and I got to change my driving style a little bit to suit the car a little better. And Bob's great help with that. He really knows these cars, and obviously he's very, very quick with them. And there's a lot of great guys in this series, some real good drivers. They're fun to be around, and it's a real family atmosphere. The guys we're competitive, but we want to see each other do well.
This segment is brought to you by GoPro. Wear it, mount it, love it.
Want to keep up with all the racing action at the track? Well, download the new GoRacingTV iPhone and Android app. And remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Welcome back to GoTransAm on MavTV. It was a beautiful day at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for the third round of the 2012 Trans Am Series Championship. Right at the start, 18 cars in the Trans Am, Trans Am 2 and Global GT cars. Right at the start, very good move from Tony Abbott defending the fight from Doug Peterson. Clean start for Bob Stretch, the pole sitter in Trans Am 2. And not such a good start for Michael Wilson, who had 2 consecutive podiums in the first 2 rounds of the season. Good pass in the hands of Amy Ruman, who started third and took second from Doug Peterson right in lap number 1. The first full course caution came out, and with that, Michael Wilson had to come into the pits and try to repair his Chevy Monte Carlo. He was able to go back on the track at the restart in lap number 4. Tony Abbott stretching his lead in front of Amy Ruman, who was on a good fight for second position with Simon Gregg, winner 2 weeks ago at Lime Rock. Right at the restart, Doug Peterson, the points leader in the Trans Am class, have to come into the pits to change the right rear tire. And right at that lap, back on the straight, he was once again 3-time consecutive pole sitter and 2-time defending champion Tony Abbott, who stopped out on track with mechanical problems. Another weekend to forget for the 2-time defending champion. Also bad luck for Kurt Warwick, the racing engineer. He had clutch problems and was stopped out on the track. And this was one of the crucial moments when Doug Peterson, the points leader in the Trans Am class, for the first time of the season, stopped out on track with mechanical problems. Unbelievable once again. And also another weekend to forget for Tom Sheehan. He was the second qualifier in Trans Am 2. He had a good start, but remember he had the fire on his car on Saturday. Looks like the mechanical problems in his car were not solved. Bob Stretch with a commanding lead in the Trans Am 2 class. He's starting from pole. His second of the year. He was the winner 2 weeks ago at Lime Rock, and this was the closest Mike Miller was able to get behind the Trans Am 2 leader Bob Stretch. Meanwhile, under green, it was Amy Ruman leading in her home track, followed closely by Simon Gregg, who kept the mirrors full for Amy Ruman. They both know this track very well. They will go on and take advantage of that. It was only the start of the race. They were having a pretty good fight for the race lead in front of a lot of people at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Greg will stay behind Ruman for a few laps, but it was in lap number 9 that he put this move for the lead. Amy Ruman will defend. Simon Gregg will go side by side, trying to take the lead from Amy Ruman. It was Gregg on the inside, Ruman on the outside, Ruman on the inside, Gregg on the outside. And when they were coming to the right turn, it was the chance for Simon Gregg to squeeze Amy Ruman for the first place. After that, Amy Ruman will keep the pressure on to Simon Gregg to try and pressure him to make a mistake. And Simon Gregg, after his first win 2 weeks ago at Lime Rock, has definitely become a very strong driver. He It was not an easy race at the beginning for Simon Gregg because Amy Ruman never stopped the pressure to try and take the lead back from Simon Gregg. And in Trans Am 2, Bob Stretch was just cruising up front of Mike Miller and John Atwell. Stretch, starting from pole, is the Trans Am 2 defending champion, looking very good to go for another win at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. The race is not over until it's over. Simon Gregg still feeling the pressure from Amy Ruman, who wanted to shine in front of her home crowd here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Can Simon Gregg hold on to the lead? Amy Ruman was running faster laps than Simon Gregg. Will she be able to pass him for the lead? We'll take a look at that right after this. This segment is brought to you by TrackMate Data Systems. Simply the best.
Hi there, I'm Tom Natchu, and this is Greg Kramer. We're called the old bastards of racing in many circles. You know, I guess we met back in the late 1980s.
Easy. It had to be at least that far back. Glory day of some racing, too.
Oh, absolutely. Trans Am was a part of the picture, and actually I learned to do pro announcing from this man around the Trans Am Championship. Oh, that is a long time ago.
A very long time ago, but I'll tell you what, you take a look at Trans Am racing in the early 90s in particular, the names that were running at that time. But the other side of the story was World Challenge was really starting to come alive at that point. And the names in that, there were sometimes you'd look at the two rosters and go, you know, I'm not sure which one is the most talent. Some amazing stuff from those decades past. And of course, a lot of those drivers also doubling up, running amateur racing in the runoffs. And it was spectacular stuff.
Now, GoRacingTV has got all of that action, Trans Am World Challenge, and even some runoff material, all coming up over the next season. That's going to be something to watch.
I know, to be able to relive those 2 decades of motorsports from the Sports Car Club of America's Pro Racing Department, Trans Am World Challenge, and then you include the National Amateur Championships, the runoff, the intense battles that unfolded there. It simply doesn't get any better than that, and it lives again right here on GoRacingTV.com.
Because I need to spend more time in front of my computer.
Welcome back. Before the break, we watched how close the battle was for first in the Trans Am class between Amy Ruman, who was in second, and race leader at that moment, Simon Gregg. Ruman, at one point of the race, was faster than Gregg, but laps later, Simon Gregg was able to take control of the lead and pull away from Amy Ruman. In Global GT, it was the first race for Jan Halen, IndyCar and Grand Am veteran, who brought the Dodge Challenger back to the Trans Am Series. He was able to do a steady race to go for the win in Global GT in the first race of this Dodge Challenger. Running third in Trans Am was Denny Lamers, who brought the first podium finish for the Ford Boston brand. Lamers, in his first race of the year, was able to stay out on track and had a steady race to finish in the podium. After 45 laps, the checker flag dropped and it was once again Simon Gregg in his 100th start in the Trans Am class with his second consecutive win. Bob Stretch, starting from pole in TA2, will go on to get his second win of the season, and with that, he will stretch his commanding lead in the points championship. Let's talk to the winners at Victory Lane. Why were you so fast at the end of the race?
Well, I knew that it would take, a consistent pace throughout the race. So I just tried to conserve a little bit during the beginning, even though it didn't look like it, because it was really exciting. I was barely making it through some of the turns there, but Jim, thank you very much. Emra and Ryan and Rob, they've done a wonderful job with the car as usual. I'm just excited to be at Mid-Ohio where, the car came through again for me. Winning 2 in a row on my
100th start.
100th start was amazing.
You take an advantage in the point leads, How does it feel to be here celebrating again?
Well, it feels good. I miss Pete. Sometimes when I'm racing with Pete, I kind of wish he wasn't there, but now I'm missing him. So I'm looking forward to having Pete back and battling it out again. But it's great to get a little bit of a points cushion. And it was a tough deal in the heat with no yellows really, just one at the beginning, and it was good. It was a great race.
How does it feel to do your first Trans Am race? And I saw you went from the start to the end in the car without a problem.
Yeah, that was quite good. No, we're all happy to be here, and obviously it's nice to finish on the podium. Everybody's been working really hard. It's a car that still needs a lot of work, but like I said, it's nice to be on the podium. And a big thank you to the team, to all the guys from John Shapiro, and to Three-Dimensional Doug and his family for taking me here. So.
And this is how they finish in round 3. With the second consecutive victory for Simon Gregg at his 100th start, Amy Ruman finished second for the first time in Trans Am, and Danny Lamers in his first podium, also the first for a Ford Mustang this year. And there is the rest of the Trans Am field. In Trans Am 2, Bob Stretch with the win from pole position, followed by Mike Miller with his first podium of the year, and Greg Rogers, a winner in last year's Trans Am 2 class, in his first race of the year. There you see the rest of the Trans Am 2 drivers. And in Global GT, it was Jan Halen with his first race in the Trans Am series, also the first of the class this season. In the points, we have a new leader, that is Simon Gregg, followed by Doug Peterson, Amy Ruman, and two-time defending champion Tony Abe, who will have to make a strong run in the rest of the season to try and get his third title in a row. In Trans Am 2, a comfortable lead for Bob Stretch, the Trans Am 2 defending champion, with 2 wins in this season, followed by Michael Wilson, who moved up to second, and Tom Sheehan, who moved from 4th to 3rd. Sadly, Pete Hosmer was not able to compete, and he dropped to 4th in points in Trans Am 2. This is it from Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Our congratulations goes to Simon Gregg. He definitely earned his win to date. It's his 100th start. Even though we have a race full of attrition, he really pushed hard to get this second win of the season. Congratulations also to Bob Stretch, who started on pole and is still winning the championship in the TA2 class. In 3 weeks' time, we'll see you in New Jersey Motorsports Park for the 4th round of the 2012 Trans Am season. Until then, I am Alfredo Nin. Thank you for watching.